Hey guys, it's Xander here, and welcome to another episode of the Xmage Players Podcast. I'm your host, Xander, and this week I'm joined by ThyrixSyx. He's a fellow YouTube content creator, and he also does Magic the Gathering. Not Xmage as a lot of the other stuff that we do, but this is a really cool guy, does really good content, really good decks. You should check out his channel, or you can find him on Twitch as well, at ThyrixSyx. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Thyrix.
Thank you for having me. I actually really love interviews. Answering questions is fun for me.
It's fun, just fun.
yeah. I'm in freaking psychology, right? So it's the type of thing that I just do.
Yeah. Excuse the background noise. That's my youngest child. He's a bit of a loud soul. We'll say that. So to start off this little bit of interview, we're going to talk about you as a YouTuber. What got you into creating Magic the Gathering content on YouTube?
So I actually started creating content back in high school. I think it was. It might have been either like super late high school or early college. And essentially it's just like at the time I just wanted to do it, you know. I've never been a person who has like a ton of friends. So I was like, yeah, maybe I could connect to some people. And I was legit just making like trash videos, and some of them are still up. I've not removed the others, but I've just like made them private because they're trash. But some of the older not great ones are still up. And you know, at some point I just realized that no one was watching, and I needed to focus on my undergrad. I came back April because I was in the closed beta, and they just released NDA on it. And I was like, I'm playing this game literally every single day. I might as well just like record. Like, what really, one of the big things that made me stop making content creation back in college is that just the editing took too much time, and I just didn't have the time considering I was in undergrad and I just had a bunch of work to do.
Yep.
So I decided, hey, I'm gonna record. That's like the easy thing. I'm gonna press record. I'm gonna play games. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna press end and just upload it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. If people want to watch, they can. But there's less strain on me to like actually make the content perfect. So it was a lot better. And really it was just a whim of like, I am playing this game. I want to see if anyone will hang out for it.
Well, with over on your YouTube channel specifically, you've got over 12,000 subs. So I think you've, going by what you've done, been fairly successful in that regard, and not doing the editing. Like I do a lot of editing for my stuff, but I can see how doing it the way you're doing it, you wouldn't get burnt out as much. You're just free to play games, and you're not caring as much about what you're doing. So some people might bitch and moan about how that's a thing, but yeah, I think it's really cool. I watched a lot of your stuff, or since being tagged on your channel, I've watched a lot of your stuff. I've been a sub for a while now, but yeah, it's been really cool, and it's good to see.
But yeah, like one of the things I pride myself on, and I try my best to mention it when it does happen, but one of the really nice things about not editing and just going with record and then stop is that people get to see the actual deck, like as it really is, how it really plays.
Yeah.
Because I'm not handpicking games that go well for me. I'm playing a deck and being like, hey, this is how it happens.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes there have been issues like just with the recording in general, or like I've been just destroyed and I get tilted. I'm like, this just isn't a fun video to watch. So I'll destroy it like for those reasons. But I feel happy that I'm able to be so transparent with the fact that this is just what I have.
Yeah. With a lot of my, I had someone comment on a video that I uploaded recently where the gameplay, it was a gameplay video. I only play best of ones because I haven't got time to do best of threes a lot of the time. And because I am just playing single games, it'll look like I've just picked out the winning ones, but it's literally every game I played back to back, or like with games in between, not playing with that deck. So I might be like burn out playing that deck, I'll play something else, I'll lose a couple of games with it. So when you look at the ranking thing, because I only ever play ranked, it'll be like, oh, so how'd you go from being gold 1 to like silver or whatever? I'm like, oh, because the league, the season finished or it went to the next thing. But yeah, just when I can get a chance to play a game, I'll play the game, I'll record it. If it's worth watching is another thing too. If I just get beat in a game where I grinded out the whole game and it was just crap the whole time, and then I lost the game at the end, no one wants to see that. It's not really. I try to get those games out of it, but otherwise, no.
Especially if it's like Esper Control, because like a lot of my viewers, at least, express a lot of dislike for Esper control. So you're playing the game, it is just counterspell, counterspell, counterspell. You lose. They don't want to see that.
Yeah, Esper Control is a really bad game to watch more than anything. It's just not. It's not entertaining for anybody just sitting there going, play land, go. It's like, okay, now I'm going to try and play this card, counter it or kill it. And okay, we're not playing Magic. We're just watching people sit there and do nothing. It's not as entertaining. Touching
for what it's worth, I like playing against the variety. I like playing against control decks, but as you said, it's just not fun to watch.
Yep.
And when you're getting nothing but those same control decks, then like you get burnt out of it. You're like, I want to play something different. I want the game to be interesting for myself and for the viewers.
Yeah. Touching on going by the 12,000 plus subs, you'd be monetized in terms of like YouTube's algorithm. You've got enough followers and they'd be happy to monetize your channel?
Yes. So YouTube apparently has this really interesting thing where the rich just get richer.
Yeah.
So when you're doing well, YouTube keeps promoting you. As soon as you stop doing well, they're like, we'll come back maybe if you get some traction again. I think like the first month I was able to monetize. This was during the holiday season, and YouTube has different ad periods. So during the holiday season, ads are worth more. So I was getting a lot of ad revenue during the holiday season. That was also the same time my YouTube channel was growing a lot because YouTube was actually recommending a lot of my videos.
Yep.
That stopped. So I will say the first 2 months I got significantly more than I have been recently. I've been recently getting, I think, a third of like the first month. I think I'm making not a third, near a third. But the second month I'm making about half that.
Yep.
It's been pretty consistently half of that. I recall people saying that YouTube doesn't love when you talk exactly about the numbers. But I will say that per month from just YouTube ad revenue, I'm getting between, and I'm making this a large range just because I feel like I might have to.
Yep.
I'm getting between $100 and $700. So about that area every month, and I think that's really reasonable for just like 1-2 hours every day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's nice, and then of course there's like Patreon added on top of that. There's the collaboration I have with Flipside Gaming. There's the Twitch Prime subs. So it's a bunch of different places, and based on what I've heard, actual like professional YouTubers say, you really do want to try to diversify where you're getting revenue from. So like if any of you are listening and you want to start content creation, you want to try your best to at some point at least have different sources, because YouTube is incredibly fickle.
Yeah. Now I'm just touching on the Flipside Gaming thing. How did that happen? Like did they approach you and say, hey, we want to support your channel?
Yeah. I've been watching LVD. This is Legend BD Luca Von, I don't know his last name. I've been watching his stuff for a long time, and a lot of the depth that I use to describe the deck decks, or at least initially, a lot of people not loving the long deck decks, but initially I had really long deck decks and really in-depth gameplay discussion, and a lot of that was modeled on LVD stuff because he was so clear, he was so comprehensive in what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So I've been watching LVD for a while. And LVD is also sponsored by Flipside Gaming. So at some point, I just get an email from Flipside Gaming. They're like, hey, you want to work this? And I'm like, I'll think about it. And I ask them a bunch of questions because I'm the type of person who will read an entire contract before signing it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's just the type of person I am. I'm like, I want to ask all of the questions. I want to know all of the variables. But it all seems pretty good to me. People are getting 10% off on things over $10. Like, it's not a ton, it's not, they're not getting like 20% off, 30% off or anything, but that still is an amount off.
Yeah. And
from the people who are saving money, right, buying things they would buy otherwise just at other places, some of that comes to support me, which in turn makes it so I can create more content, so more people can watch. It's nice. And then they just have really good deals, and I constantly talk about this one because I actually love it, and I have them over here. The Dragon Shield sleeves they're like $8. They're so good.
Dragon shields are awesome.
I buy them myself. It's such a good deal, and you can just use that deal with the other deal. And like, every month, the community person, he emails me and he's like, hey, just wanted to make sure you got your payments.
Yeah.
There's just some interesting stuff that's going on the site. Feel free to talk about it. And we did a playmat giveaway, and like some subs won free playmats just for signing up and stuff. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really awesome to do that. And now now I have an in with LVD. So theoretically, I really want to play with a bunch of people. I'm working on a bunch of collabs right now, but like I'm flipside bros with LVD.
No, that's cool. That's really cool. With so being Magic the Gathering arena content, you're fairly specifically in. Excuse the kid. You're fairly specifically in arena stuff, and arena being just about all standard. How do you think standard's looking at the moment?
Not great. Arena, I think, is slightly skewed from normal standard, and a lot of that I think is just because the difference between best of one and best of three, which is I usually play best of one.
Yeah,
but it's so difficult to play a variety of things within a certain archetype, right? If you want to play aggro, there are like 2 or 3 decks that are optimal to play. If you want to play control, 2 or 3 decks. Mid-range is almost non-existent, in my opinion. Like true mid-range it feels like it's almost non-existent, and it really leans heavily to like super aggressive mid-range or like mid-range control, where the aggressive mid-range deck essentially is like an aggressive deck that has a fewer higher end cards, and then mid-range control is just like control with a few earlier creatures, right? So in my opinion, it's not great. And I actually, if it weren't for arena, I wouldn't be playing standard.
Yeah,
I stopped playing standard somewhere around Tarkir block, I think, because I was playing, or not Tarkir, somewhere around Theros block, because I was playing, and I realized that like every card on my playmat when I was at FNM was a rare or mythic.
No,
and
really.
this was including my lands. Like I had no basics out at that moment. There were basics in the deck, but everything in my graveyard, everything in my hand, everything on the field was a rare mythic. And I was like, these cards are going to be worthless in a bit. I was like, I don't want to play standard. It just changes too much. And the thing I like about arena is that instead of paying money, I can use time. Which, time is money, but it's different in what you can do with it. I can play arena and do other things at the same time.
Yeah. In your case, make money for doing it.
True.
Yeah. With the sorry, lost my train of thought.
We're talking about standard and arena, and I don't think standard is in a great place.
Yeah, with the exception of mono blue. In standard, there's not a lot of like budget decks that can actually do any good at all. Or I feel anyway. I don't think budget's really a thing you can do.
You can get away with mono red, but yeah, like there's like no budget control decks right now. As I said, there's like no mid-range decks. And mid-range decks, I feel, are usually like the expensive decks, right? Like aggro decks have a lot of commons and uncommons because they're just like cheap beaters.
Yeah.
Control has like the big finishers, but a lot of the kind of counter spells and things like that are often in the common or uncommon to rare, but not a ton of rares. But mid-range, you're like looking for the optimal for everything, and that's like always.
Yeah, it's just usually like 2, 3, or 4 color good stuff, and it's just all the best rares and mythics in whatever niche you're in. Whereas the control, like you said, you'll have your big bomb finishers, and then the other most expensive thing is probably the land base, where you're running like 1 or 2 basic lands, and the rest is all the dual lands, the shock lands, and yeah. So standard, I feel like a little while ago it was looking pretty good. I think it's getting a bit stale at the moment. Like you're saying, it's fairly specifically on arena. I feel like that's the way that it's going because of the best of one. So, with the best of one, for anyone listening not familiar with arena, best of 3 is the standard way that a lot of people normally play Magic fairly competitively. That's how it's done on a lot of different formats. But with the best of 1, it's either aggro is either fast enough to beat you, or control is either solid enough to just stop you from playing Magic, and then they win. So there's no second game, third game where you've got a chance to sideboard out stuff that's not useful and bring in answers. Without that option, it's just rock, paper, scissors, essentially. And if you don't have the right combination of cards, or you're not drawing the right thing to answer what they're doing, then yeah, it goes one way or the other. Still enjoyable a lot of the time, but yeah, as we're saying, it can start getting a bit stale. And if we weren't doing YouTube content for them, we probably wouldn't be playing as much. I mean,
like if I weren't making content, I would legit be playing Bolus Control because I love Bolus, Zombies because I love Zombies, and probably Muldrotha, and that's like it. Like I don't see myself playing any other decks, and I'd probably just auto concede to anything I just didn't feel like playing against, which would just be like mono blue and Teferi decks, which are the mono blue. Luckily, is just like not around very much. But Teferi decks are like I actually pulled up Goldfish, and of course this is for real Magic, but some of the top what is this 10, 15 are like Teferi decks. The other like 4 of them are Hydrocrisis ramp decks. You got Phoenix, you got Gruul midrange, which is just an aggro deck with a few higher end cards, and then you have mono red, right? Like
the Gruul midrange too, isn't it? More often than not, just mono red splashing green, so they can get the spellbreakers in there, or
no, it has things like Growth Timber Guardian, which is really strong, and Domri to make things swole.
I actually really like the new Domri.
I like middle Domri best. The 4-mana one. I really like that one. But new Domri is actually pretty decent. I still just hate his voice. He's an English hooligan. Why? It doesn't make any sense that an anarchist is like, oh wow, bruv, we're gonna go blow stuff. I can't fucking do English.
No, that's cool. Touching on, so you've already expressed a little bit the decks that you like, or if you were to choose, those are there. If you were to choose, those would be the decks that you would play. What do you have a specific deck that you would play above anything else? Do you have a favorite deck?
It's really hard to choose between those 3. I really like the options that Bolus Control gives me, but I still haven't found the right configuration for this meta because I hate it. Muldrotha is just not good, so I'd only be ever playing that in unranked, and then I would just get annoyed that I'm playing against nothing but meta decks in unranked.
Yeah.
She's a ton of fun though. If the deck was slightly better, I'd probably say her. I have a ton of zombie builds. Right now, I think the best are Rakdos and Golgari. I'm going to try and put them together, make a Jund one. But if I want to just jam aggro games, Rakdos is best. But I think Golgari Zombies right now is my favorite deck. And I haven't played it a ton, but just because of how many different decks I have to play. But I just love how aggressive it can be, but just fucking the loops with Molderhulk are just what I live for.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing a Dimir Amass control build that if I can stick an invasion onto the battlefield and then just control them for the next 4 turns, a lot of the times it'll just be a succession. Like they'll just concede to me, and it's just like, okay, can you answer this 6/6? No. Okay, I'm gonna gain all my life back now. And have you got an answer? No. Concede. Okay, cool. I win. But so that's steals a lot more games than you would think. But with mono red being a thing, it's very risky having that out at all, because if they can just turn it around and start going and playing control and just killing the army token every turn, then that's when it just turns into it's just bad. It's all bad. There's no good to it. So yeah, it's risky. And one of the things that I enjoyed was the Thud combo with the Dreadhorde Butcher.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I sent that deck to you when you're like, oh, everyone send a deck in for the live stream. I'll play it on live stream. And you played it a couple of games, and it's like turn 4 win, and you're like, this deck is stupid. I was like, yep, that's what I wrote it up.
Honestly, it's just like, it's Dreadhorde Butcher, man. That card is awesome.
Yeah. That with Thud, really, really cool. Is there one of the things I like to do when we're doing the podcast here is something overlooked in Magic, like a card that you think doesn't see enough play, or whether it does, whether it doesn't, something that you feel is either an overlooked card or something that you think is like an up and coming card. Doesn't have to be standard. Can be modern. With Modern Horizons just come out recently, it could be one of the newer cards. But have you got any thoughts on an up and comer or something that you think is overlooked?
I mean, my hope is that I've admitted defeat. Stepmom, or the Giver of Runes. I'm hoping that Mono White Death and Taxes will be able to be playable, but unfortunately, I think modern metagame is just too fast. And unless Wizards does something about kind of like the main offenders, which are like Faithless Looting, green card whose name I don't remember,
Ancient Stirrings.
Yeah, unless they do something about, I think like those two things, it's going to be very difficult for any like fair deck to do well. I'm not sure of any like cards that are underappreciated or like undervalued or anything. It's I don't think. Wait, did Charlotte's Agent got reprinted in Modern Horizons, right?
I'm not sure.
Am I dumb?
I'm not sure.
Am I crazy? I do not. I legitimately don't recall.
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Modern Horizons full spoiler. Go all the way down. Because maybe it didn't. Maybe someone was just talking about it. No, it did not.
One of the things I was happy to see was is it Carrion Feeder, the 1 mana 1/1 that's a sack outlet for zombies. So pumped for that because that goes straight into I did a Golgari zombies build for modern, and it was already like looking like it was going to be quite a surprisingly good deck. Putting that in, it just busted open. It's just crazy. It's insanely cool.
And that's one of the things I think I'm going to say tribal in general, right? For things that are under like represented, frankly, because it's so hard to play any tribe, like to justify playing any tribal deck that isn't Merfolk, which is kind of fallen off, or humans, right? Humans is just eating up all of the space for any sort of tribal synergy, because their cards are so dumb. They cover so like all of their bases, and the mana base is just so good right now that you can play any color you want, really, and just not be five
color humans being one of the most competitive decks in the modern format is pretty crazy. But stuff like elves, absolutely love elves. I've got elves in paper. I've been a solid elf player for a long time now.
As a Death and Taxes lover, I have to hate you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but elves are our natural enemy.
Yep. I've also got, because tribal's a big thing for me. I've got modern goblins, which is just Goblin Storm. So I play Skirk to sack goblins and play more goblins, and then empty the warrens and get a heap more. And so I'm actually really, really excited to see the new goblin that I can't remember the name of. That's basically a goddamn, what is it? Boggart Shenanigans on a stick. 3 mana guy. Whenever a goblin dies, ping someone for damage. Or ping a thing for damage.
Yeah, Pashalik Mons.
Mons, yeah. So excited to have that in there, and that with
there's a lot of new goblins.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. But with Mons, I want to get Fecundity in the deck as well, and just splash a bit of green. So it's just going to turn into sack, ping, play a thing, get more mana, sack, ping. You get that idea. Draw more cards, play more stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited about that deck. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Merfolk, as you said, that's actually one deck that I'm surprised to see do really well as a budget deck, because of some of the cards that are in standard, like the Trickster is a really, really good example of something that 2 mana flash in can stop something from being cool. Tarmogoyf being a big problem for a lot of people, that now you can give it something optimal that can block it and actually kill it, which is really crazy. But I absolutely love tribal stuff. I think it's really cool, and like you're saying, it's not something that's represented as well as it should be in a format that's meant to be as diverse as it is. But hopefully, going forward, they bring out more sets and more stuff that'll make stuff that isn't just humans.
Yeah.
Or Spirits is actually getting quite a lot of stuff in the new Horizons set, isn't it? I thought it was getting some really cool pieces.
Possibly. I don't recall exactly, because Spirits, now something I care about. I'm all about that zombie trouble.
Zombie Tribal, yeah. You're saying Death and Taxes, is that something you play in Legacy?
That is something I play. in every format.
Yep.
I have an EDH Death and Taxes deck. I have a Legacy Death and Taxes. Well, this is for Xmage. Don't kick me off, but I play on Cockatrice.
Yep.
So I have Legacy Death and Taxes on there. I have Modern Death and Taxes in real life. I tried to do Standard Death and Taxes every time they're kind of pieces in Standard. There's some really interesting things like Kinjali Sunwing, Baron, or whatever his name is. There's some interesting stuff going on, Tide Taker, but it's just not good enough. And then I have Vintage Death and Taxes, which is just it's a null rod deck. It's called Thalia Parfait.
Yep.
But no one wants to play Vintage with me. For good reason. That format is insane.
Yeah. Playing, so with the, as you said, this being for Xmage, the Xmage group that I play, we have a competitive league where we play best of threes in Standard, Modern, and Legacy every week against a different opponent, depending on what league you're in. So like we've got enough players that there's a Division 1, a Division 2, I'm not sure if we have Division 3 anymore, but then there's like a Euro League, and yeah, there's a shitload of people interested. The ladders get quite big, and playing so diverse in all the formats and that competitive Legacy, I fucking hate it. It's like the worst thing. It's like, okay, does my opening hand beat your opening hand? No, I lose. It's like
you're playing the wrong Legacy, man.
Don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of fun playing Legacy games, but a lot of the times it's just mind numbing, and I don't enjoy it a whole lot.
I will say the matchup discrepancies, I think, are a lot larger in Legacy. So for example, I play a lot with one of my friends on Cockatrice, and it's so interesting how for the decks that we choose to play, the decks that we really enjoy, either one of us is going to win or one of us is going to lose, right? Like the same one's going to lose. Just because the matchups do play a larger role. Like in Legacy, you'll see a lot of matchups that are like legitimately 70-30, right?
Yeah.
80-20, right? Things like that. Whereas in Modern, it's a lot closer to the 50-50, 60-40s, maybe 65-35s, things like that. Maybe you'll get some 70-30s here and there. And then in Standard, once you get to the lowest power level, it isn't as much about just matchup. It's about what specifically is in your deck, right? So once you the further you get back there with all the powerful cards, the more matchup dependent it is, and that can definitely make Legacy kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, like a prime example of that would be if someone was playing some description of a combo deck, doesn't matter what you're playing, but pretty much all of their lands are non-basics, and they're fairly reliant on those non-basic lands. And then someone's running mono-red Prison, and they turn 1 Blood Moon, and they go, okay, can you beat a turn 1 Blood Moon? Do you have a counterspell? Do you have something that you can't play mana for because everything you need is red source and you're not running those colors? And it's just like, okay, concede to that. Or turn 1 Chalice, like just things like that. Or turn 1, if you're playing Reanimator, I'm a big advocate for Reanimator because it just steals games. So in game 1, you might not even give it away. It's like, oh, can I beat that with my Reanimator as it is? Otherwise, bang, go to game 2. I know what color they're on, and I'll turn 1 Iona. You can't play Magic. And it's just something like that. It's just, But enough on Legacy. I'll just get salty about it if I keep talking about it. We're pretty much done for the interview, trying to keep it short. Thank you so much, ThyrixSyx, for joining me. I'm not sure whether or not this is going to be before or after. I'm going to be uploading a video of me playing against you for my Deck Doctor series that I did very recently, either before or after this. And then this is the either prequel or the interview that we did after in our session. And hopefully I get to catch up and do some more video stuff with you in the near future, because this was fun and I've had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love doing things with people.
Thanks for joining me, man. And thank you everybody for watching. Like, share, hit the bell for notifications. You do the YouTube stuff, you get how it is. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Au revoir.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to see new videos as they were released. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel, you can throw me $1 on my Patreon at patreon.com/SandersQuest. And I will see you guys in the next video. Keep questing, guys.